G'day, Jason Haynes here from QPL Rural with the Haynes Report, your weekly rural property roundup. Well, the rain this week has certainly been welcomed by many producers, particularly those who have still got green standing crops. Unfortunately for a lot of people in our district, it's been a matter of too little, too late. Indeed, many in our area are choosing to put stock on their crops or cut them for forage. On the property front this week, we're in close negotiations on several of our previous feature properties. So hopefully I'll have more good news in this space over the next few weeks. Well, this week I'd like to review a few of the properties we've currently got that deserve your attention, especially due to the dry conditions out there, where reliable production is essential. We'll start off this week with Wallaroo. Now, Wallaroo is one we've had on the market for a while, but you can't beat Wallaroo's year in, year out income. This property is only 775 acres, but boasts 500 acres under pivot and another 50 acres of flood irrigation. It is well supported by 496 megalitres of Colliambly high security water and has delivery entitlements of 1,656 megalitres. Now, Wallaroo comes complete with a good 3-bedroom home and a very good set of sheds, including packing sheds. If you need a reliable production system that would complement any existing cropping or grazing enterprise, do not go past this farm. Currently run conservatively, there's very good cash income to be had off Wallaroo year in, year out. Now, if you're a pure investor, I also have a tenant ready and waiting on Wallaroo to take over, showing very strong returns and looking for a very long lease period. Again, this is flexible, reliable income that's easy to manage. For our second property this week, I'd like to go back down to Wallaroo and Tikkawarra. Now, Tikkawarra is a very well established dairy farm at Wallaroo, comprising 1,652 acres. It comes well supported with 851 megalitres of Murray irrigation, 1,914 delivery entitlements, 2 deep bores, 1 shallow bore, and 732 water shares. Now, the property is well supported by a 50-unit rotary dairy, a very large hay shed, silage stacks, and right at the back there, an 800 cow feed pad. Now, there's movement in the dairy industry at the moment. I've had inquiry from 3 different corporate operators that are looking to expand their holding. So this property has serious value as a dairy farm. But if you start to pull it apart, and you're currently looking for somewhere to feed cattle and finish cattle or sheep, this property has serious value as a forage farm. If you ignore the dairy, this is a purpose-built property for growing large amounts of high-quality forage. Indeed, if you pull it apart, there's 427 hectares of irrigation and 242 hectares of dryland farming here. This land is currently used for growing annual rye, sub-clover, lucerne, and even maize, along with wheat and barley and vetch on the dryland portions. Now, if you start looking at conservative production figures of 8 tonne to the hectare for the irrigation area and 4 tonne to the hectare for the dryland area, this property could conservatively produce over 3,500 tonnes of dry matter each year without growing maize. Now, this is equivalent to just shy of 10,000 DSE, all on a property that is purpose-built for grazing cattle. And indeed, this doesn't include if you purchased extra feed and decided to feed like cattle on the 800 cow feed pad. There's opportunity to be had on this property, and indeed it is very cheap and reliable DSEs for a finishing or breeding enterprise. So come and sit down with me, get your calculator out, and we'll go through the numbers. Now, one thing that's interesting at the moment, even though we've had some very dry conditions, we are getting still very, very strong inquiry over dryland cropping properties, irrigation properties, and grazing properties. If you're currently weighing up your options, please give me a call and we'll have a confidential conversation about what your property might be worth in the current market and what your options are going forward. Now, as always, if you'd like any more information on our feature properties this week, please feel free to give me a call at any time on 0488 594 450. I look forward to catching up with you all again next week. Cheers.